I got a new setup. It's pretty cool, right? Aha, aha, ha. Hi, hello, my guys, gays, and purest of rays. Today I'm starting a new series of speed paints with voiceovers where I introduce you all to one of my groups of OCs. I'm calling this series Allow Me to Introduce. Today we're talking about The Children, a group of 9 queer people in a big friend group. A little background in Pardon? This is gonna take a while. This one's really long. This is a really long script. And I'm doing great so far, so we're gonna be here a while. A little background. In June 2019, I took on the character design challenge where you take pride flags and turn them into character designs. I did 3 and then got tired and forgot about it forever until the next year where I decided the design sucked and I wanted to do more, and then boom, the children were born. That kind of rhymed. More born. And just to clarify, the flags inspired the colors and the characters' genders and or sexualities. Everything else about them is just personalities I made for them and have nothing to do with the sexualities or gender identities themselves. And just one more thing before I get into it. If you find you like these characters by the end... Oh shoot, I should turn my fan off. Might be in the thing. Ugh, darn. I'm not starting over. But I should turn it off. And just one more thing before we get into it. If you find you like these characters by the end of this and you want to know more about them, The Children is a completely free-to-read webcomic over on Tapas. The link will be in the description. Now, without further ado, allow me to introduce The Children. Starting off with one of the original designs, Barry was my favorite design. In the design, why did I say the word design so many times in this sentence? Starting off with one of the original designs, Barry was my favorite out of all of them. In the design, I changed the least from the first 3, like the 3 of them from 2019. Out of them, I changed Barry's design the least. Does that make sense? I don't know if that makes sense. He's adorable and simple. While you'll see the other characters have their flag colors more prominent, like spread out in their designs, Barry only has the flag colors on his shirt. Instead, a good amount of his design... I feel like I have to sneeze. You gonna sneeze? No. Okay. I really feel like I gotta sneeze though. Instead, a good amount of his design are stereotypes and signifiers associated with bi people. Personality-wise, Barry is kind and naive. He's sometimes overwhelmingly energetic and trusts people too easily. He enjoys fashion designing, iced coffee, sweet things, helping his friends, and video games. As far as relationships go, he's the youngest and most childlike in the group, so naturally he's the group baby in most of their eyes. Except for one person. But that'll come up later. He's Pam's adopted little brother and that is the only way he's a 15-year-old in an otherwise adult friend group. Oh yeah, he's 15. Before joining Pam's family very young, he was in a toxic household with only his mother. I don't remember why I originally gave him freckles, but something I really aimed for in this group overall is diversity, so it may have something to do with that. Or maybe younger me thought it contributed to his cute, innocent persona. No, I have no clue. I also sort of a little made some minor choices on what kind of person represent the flags. It's still really hard for people to acknowledge bi men exist for whatever reason. So that's why I felt more inclined to make him a guy. And also the representation of mental illness in media also commonly doesn't focus on men, but that doesn't come up in the story for a while. Now that I've vaguely hinted at random story arcs in the comic, let's move on to the next character. Pam is quite possibly my favorite character out of everyone and definitely is the most fleshed out. She used to also be my favorite to draw, but her girlfriend has taken that mantle from her. Not only is she the most fleshed out, but she's the only character with an actual full name. Pamela Suzuki. No, just Pam. I can read! Pam is a 26-year-old introverted character. Her main characteristics are how laid back and witty she is. She also tends to be very to herself and doesn't share much unless she's sharing with her girlfriend Leslie. Pam's main aspiration is just vaguely music. She performed songs she wrote when she was in college and now works at a record store. She's also very close friends with the owner of said record store, so her hours are loose. She lives with Leslie in a house that they rent. It's technically an apartment, but it's like physically a house. Pam is one of the 3 characters from 2019 and I changed a lot from her original incarnation. Something about the word incarnation, it just doesn't roll off my tongue naturally. It doesn't sound like something I would say from her first incarnation. Originally, she was intended to be an extroverted, wisecracking, drunk big sister type energy who's very flirty and gets into crazy hijinks. She's still very much the big sister type character. She just keeps more to herself and is a lot more relaxed than I originally intended. I really like how the way she dresses kind of clashes with how light and fun the colors are in her design. Rather than grays and blacks and whatnot, if the This sentence doesn't make any sense. Okay. If the colors were darker, it wouldn't attribute to her kind of laid-back nature. That doesn't make any sense, but moving on. Another detail about her design is the two people she's closest to, her brother and his girlfriend, are fashion obsessed, and she is just not. So I have here in the notes, it says, hip-hop Harry voice. Who's next? I understand what I'm referring to and what the intention was. I don't know how to do hip-hop Harry's voice, so I'm just gonna put the clip in. Next up is Leslie! Last of the three original designs. She had the worst of the design. I didn't like how I said that. Leslie had the worst of the designs. The hair made no sense. The clothes are ugly, and nothing about the design tells me anything about her. And it's just like illogical. It's just bad. I don't like it. Which is interesting because she was also the first out of the three that I made. I really, really love Leslie's design, and hell, I just really love Leslie. She's bubbly, caring, responsible, and passionate. She has big mom friend energy and gets along with everyone in the group. She's been dating Pam since their junior year of high school, so she's very close with Bam. I made the same mistake when I was practicing this yesterday. That's the new energy drink, Bam. So glad I made that mistake twice so I could make that joke to out loud to other people, because I just made it to myself, and what's the point of telling jokes to yourself? Paul Burnham would know. So she's very close with Pam and Barry. She's a painter for a living, that's what she does. Money is slow for both her and Pam. They are barely keeping their expenses afloat, but neither of them would ever tell each other to give up on their dreams. Despite loving her friends a lot, Leslie loves being alone. She enjoys fashion, makeup, cosplay, and gay animes. Only the gay ones. The lesbian flag is made up of just pinks and oranges, so I tried to focus Leslie's design on cream and pastel pinks to speak to her soft and kind nature. While I wasn't a big fan of the original, I did keep basically the same color scheme. A cute little detail you can't see in this picture is that Pam has a blue belt with a heart clasp that she always wears, and Leslie has a choker in the exact same color to match. Eventually, I even changed the choker to have a heart to more clearly match. I don't know if you noticed, but I said a lot less about Pam and Leslie's backstories than I did about Barry's, because I want to keep those a surprise for later. Gavin is the first of the bunch who was conceived in 2020. He had minor changes, but he in general has only had one design. Gavin is a stoic and intimidating looking person who is actually extremely soft and extremely dense. I guess you could say he's kind of a himbo king, but like a quiet himbo. I love saying himbo king so much. I don't know why. It's not in the script. It doesn't say himbo king, but I added king because Gavin is very shy and doesn't really talk much at all. He's extremely loyal and would do anything for his friend. I just wrote friend for his friend. Friends, plural. Who's the friend? He can be pretty gullible, especially when it comes to love, but Pam and Leslie and Barry being super involved and knowing better, mixed with his massive muscles. I don't know, it's just funny why I say it like that. An ability to fight, he's usually able to get himself out of predicaments. Up until his third year in college, Gavin had done boxing. This gave him not only big freaking muscles. I know. Like, I know. He is buff. I know that. Why did I feel the need to point it out so many times in this description? Okay, they're big frickin' muscles. This gave him not only big frickin' muscles, but also the ability to fight. He uses tactical reasoning he learned from boxing to play video games, which is his favorite thing to do. Pam and Leslie are his best friends since college, and he has an older brother relationship with Barry and Envy. Though Gavin is more caring and compassionate with Barry, while Envy just gets under his skin, but Envy gets under everyone's skin. I know that's a new name, but don't worry. We're gonna get to them. They come up soon. Shh. Not soon. But keep that in your head, okay? They're annoying. You can't see his outfit at all in this picture, but trust it's not much to look at. He's more focused on practicality when he dresses. During the summer, he works as a bodyguard for an A-list celebrity who visits the city every year. He makes enough money during this time that he doesn't work the rest of the year. Thus, he spends most of his time hanging out with the rest of the children. Something I noticed about this group is that you can kind of split it into three smaller groups. Pam, Gavin, Leslie, and Barry, the next three characters, and then the two main protagonists. Trina is another one of my favorites, design-wise and her character Trina is another one of my favorites, design-wise and her character overall. Even though she was made in 2020, she also... Nope, that says actually. Every time I slip over, take a shot. Every time I lose the ability to speak and or read, take a shot. Don't. You'll die. Think about your livers, people. Even though she was made in 2020, she actually does have two designs. Her first one is just kind of bland, like the hair and stuff. It's just not that interesting. And she also just had big Leslie vibes, and I really wanted everyone to look different next to each other, like really different and distinctive when they're all standing in a group. I'm so happy with the changes I made to her design because it's so pretty now. She's so pretty. Another thing is that I wanted to make sure that the trans flag character was a black trans woman for two reasons. A, pride and LGBT rights as a whole would not be where they are today without black trans women. Yet society treats them so poorly. And B, I've heard... Hold on. I have to scratch my nose. I know I have to sneeze. Can you sneeze, bro? Are you gonna sneeze at all? Or are you just gonna bug me? My head hurts. All of this commentary I'm making is golden. I hope I cut none of it out. It has nothing to do with the children, but people need to know that my nose really itches. And B, I've heard other character designers say that light pastels look good on dark skin. Trina's personality can most easily be described as girl boss. She's assertive, straightforward, and is very dedicated to her goals. She's still fun to be around and just as sarcastic and witty as her friends, but more focused and hardworking than the others. She's had this trait instilled in her from a young age when seeing how hard her mother worked. It made her feel this sort of depth? No. It made her feel this sort of debt. That because her mother worked so hard for her, that she had to become something great. She has a twin sister who's also trans, but we'll get to that in a sec. Her best friend is Envy, which we'll also get to in a sec. And she's the aforementioned only character who doesn't like Barry for secret reasons about past events. Ooh, backstory. Shh. Ooh, backstory. Shush. Shush. That is what it says in the script. Ooh, backstory. Shush. Now, I didn't really intend for there to be two trans flag characters, but I saw a TikTok about Magna from My Hero Academia, which is, by the way, an interesting character to talk about because of how people interpret her appearance and what it means to the larger context of the My Hero universe. Like, I saw this one other TikTok where someone was talking about her, and basically talking about her in this other trans character in the show, which is Tiger from the Blah Blah Pussycats, is that what they're called? Anyway, basically that's saying the difference in hero society and the, not supremacy, but just like elitism, I guess? Like, the stark difference in the financial range and how, because Tiger is a hero, that he has access to all the surgeries and all that stuff, where Magna can't because the hero society is broken. And I thought that, I just think that's really interesting. And so many people just have so many interesting takes about her. But back on track. I saw this TikTok about Magna that laid out the concept of gender non-conforming binary trans people. And I was like, I want to represent that in my OC group, but I already have a trans flag character and I like her design so much. So boom, Tracy. Tracy is much less passionate in comparison to her twin. Something kind of important I kind of forgot to mention in the Trina section is that she is in school to be a nurse. She owns her own apartment building, is a fashion influencer, and a political activist on Instagram, and she's only 18. This is important for Tracy's characterization because she's always just been in the shadow of her sister's accomplishments. She's smart and great at art and numerous other things, but it looks like nothing compared to all her sister does. This weighs on Tracy a lot, but it doesn't stop her from being by her sister's side at all times. She's like the Ryan to her Sharpay. Kinda, no. She's like the James to her Jessie. Yes, yeah, that's it. That's better. Personality-wise, she's kind, if not judgy. She can be a bit vain, but she's cheeky, charismatic, and fun-loving. She gets along pretty well with everyone, but she's closest to Leslie, Envy, and Trina. She works as a freelance painter and graffiti artist alongside her sister and Leslie. I've mentioned their name a bunch now, so we gotta get to Envy. Despite being one of the loudest and most talkative characters, Envy is actually the most mysterious out of the group. No one knows where they live, not even their best friend Trina. They just show up at people's houses, eating their food, and disappear into the night. Envy was created and designed alongside let me sit better. Maybe that'll help me sound less stupid. Envy was created and designed alongside Trina, so the two complement each other perfectly. They balance out Trina by being completely unserious and not having any aspirations outside of messing with people. Their design came about because I knew someone in this group had to be alt. Why did I say that so alt? Their design came about because I knew someone in this group had to be alt, and because of all the dark colors in the non-binary flag and just the one pop of color, I thought it would be perfect. Envy is a prankster and on-ball and doesn't take much of anything serious. Outside of always wanting to look androgynous, they don't really care much about how people perceive them. They like pranking and messing with their friends, but the second any of them, especially Trina, Tracy, or Gavin, gets hurt in any shape or form, they turn into a complete other person who's either angry beyond belief or empathetic beyond belief. It's left up to your imagination how Envy knows TNT, but once they joined the friend group, Envy just kind of came in with them. Envy is particularly close with Gavin because before meeting everyone, Envy had mocked and bothered Gavin in his favorite game. I came up with this concept while listening to No Mercy by the Living Tombstone, so yep, that's it. That's their relationship, there you go. They eventually learned to love each other, but Envy is still a real pain. Now on to functionally the main characters of the series. What happened with these two is I didn't really have the drive to design them, and I especially didn't have the drive to figure out how their dynamics would fit with everyone else's. But then I realized, wait, they don't have to. If they were the protagonists, we would be introduced to everything through them, and they would slowly be integrated into the group, and that's when I came up with the entire idea for Welcome to the City. But enough about that, let's get on to our last two characters, Arrow and Ace. Arrow is half of the twin duo. Read better, Jesus. Arrow is half of the twin duo who's moving in. Why can't I read? Blah! What's going on? Arrow is half of the twin duo who's moving into the city to start college and end up a part of the friend group from the beginning of the comic. Arrow often comes across as cold, uncaring, and rude, especially when talking to her sibling. However, the two of them are extremely close. They were raised in a big Christian family with a lot of siblings and cousins, so it was always just like the two of them against the world. Arrow's someone who doesn't really know where they want their life to go or even what she wants to do as a career. They're currently a business major in the school her and Ace are starting in, but she honestly doesn't even know what that means. They enjoy reading horror movies and animals, especially birds and cats. She's a critical and analytical thinker, which she primarily uses to deconstruct character arcs in her favorite media, but can also make them overthink on multiple occasions. They're very smart and don't have any special talents or skills, so for a while she'll be struggling to find out what makes them special. Arrow doesn't keep many friends because they are socially awkward, overthink a lot, and isn't really good at making them. Being in the children is at first very overwhelming for them, but she eventually learns how nice it is to be surrounded by other queer people who accept and respect you. Without getting too much into their backstory, they had to hide the fact that she's trans and had to constantly be misgendered and dead named. Having the children as a family does eventually help her to come out of her shell a bit, but for the most part, she stays the same. We're almost done. Ace was always the favorite twin between them and their sister, leading to them getting special treatment on many occasions. Overall, this is why they're less bitter towards the world than their sister and have more talents. I'll explain what that means in a second. It was Ace's idea for the two of them to move away so Arrow could have more freedom to develop her skill set outside of the reach of their kind of overbearing and not the best family. Ace is extremely nice, bubbly, and friendly. They make friends easily and love having them. My nose still itches. Update on the nose. I haven't sneezed yet, but it still itches, in case you were curious. Though their best friend will always be their sister. They're competitive, confident, and facetious. In a fun way, not like rude. They're overall really fun to be around. Beyond that, they're really good at reading people and very emotionally intelligent, so they're quite helpful at solving conflicts, though they have a problem of overstepping when it comes to adding their input. Back on how they were favored as a child, whenever Ace said they wanted to do something, their parents automatically said yes, for a period of time before they and Arrow had younger siblings. This led to them being a skilled gymnast and a black belt in karate, both things that they left behind, but is still very talented in. I just noticed I only have this problem with Arrow and Ace. I didn't make this mistake with Envy. But for the characters that have they, them pronouns, I keep messing up the grammar on is. I keep saying is instead of are. That's not that big a deal, but it's bugging me. Ace makes fast friends with Barry and Leslie, and by proxy Pam, because all three of them are the most wholesome, kindest, adorable people in the history of existence. Although they have had more freedom to explore things compared to Arrow, Ace also has no clue what they want to do with their life. Everything they were allowed to try and explore never stuck for them. Well, that's all of them, but here's a rapid fire about everyone in the story in general. It's just 4 of them, but here's rapid fire. Go! 1. The setting of the children is just vaguely a city in America. It's not based on anywhere, it's just a big city. 2. Every year, regardless of circumstance, they all go to Pride together. 3. Pam, Barry, and Envy used to have a band together called The Last Heartbreak. It's a cool band name, I know. 4. I forgot Barry's freckles in one panel and no one has said anything about it. That's about everything, I think. This is a group of characters very close to my heart that I think about a lot. I hope you enjoyed learning about them, and if you did, let me know about them in the comments down below. And like I said, if you're interested in these characters, their webcomic is free to read, and it is in the description. While you're there, check out my other social medias, and maybe drop me a follow. Subscribe to my channel, if you want. Donate to my Ko-fi if you're feeling generous, but no pressure otherwise. But besides that, that's it. And hope you have a good day. Bye-bye. Is bye-bye gonna be my outro now? Because I've said it like 4 times now. Bye-bye. It's fun to do. Bye-bye. 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 I was also thinking about good night, folks. I like folks. Like when people say folks, I like it. So I was thinking about good night, folks. I don't know. Bye-bye. Okay, I'm gonna stop recording.